Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet. And this is Redneck Radio. This live stream where you get a big side healthy helping of spicy colored greens. That sounds good to me. With me as always is Irate Bear. And before you say anything, Sean, I am not late. Jesus Christ, 30 seconds late and you guys are going on. Shut the heck up, sit down.
Don't listen to these animals, Bloodwing. They do it on ghost poo as well.
Oh my God.
If you don't start a minute early, then you're late to these animals. Just ignore them.
Oh, I mean, I started late a couple of times ago, but it was because I didn't know that my clock across the room was 2 minutes slow. And oh, hey, J Kid, hey, how you doing, Bubba?
Hey, J Kid, hope you're well, mate.
Anyway, Irate Bear, how are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Thank you very much for asking. Been it's had a little bit of a slow day, really. It took me a while to get a video done for my second channel today, which I'll share at the end of the live stream, as I always do. How are you? How are you doing? How are you recovering?
I'm recovering pretty good. I'm off the bed rest, of course. Yesterday, I actually ventured outside to talk to my brother-in-law while he aired up my dad's tire on his van that I'm storing for him because I wasn't able to carry the air pump. So he come over and done that for me. But I went outside for probably about an hour and talked to him and was on my feet the whole time. Now, by the time that hour was done, I was ready to sit down. Beyond ready. Like, I might need help back up the hill because there's a hill goes from my yard to the, small hill from my yard to the street. My yard sits above the street. But, don't let me down. 3 minutes reservation. I went right before the stream, so I doubt it's going to be 3 minutes. But with my body, you never know. My wife will ask me before she gets in the shower, and my daughter when she was here, Dad, you need to get in. I'm going to take a shower. No, not right this minute, but you know me. You'll probably just get in there, and I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Like I was telling you before the stream, I'm suffered a little bit today from a little bit of nausea. Been belching a sour stomach all day. I don't know what that's about. A little bit of leg pain, yeah, but nothing like I used to experience at all.
Oh, good. So you are on the mend then, sir?
I do believe I'm on the mend. And I hate to think of it this way, but and I've mentioned this to you before. I just hope this doesn't ruin my chances at getting my disability. I hate that. I'm glad that I'm getting better, but I need that money.
I want to be disabled again.
Well, I haven't worked for 4 years. I need some, a little help here. That's all. I'd be happy just to get what they owe me between now and then. That'd be fine with me.
And guys, speaking of money, you can help support Mr. Bloodwing by making donations to his Streamlabs, which is linked down below. I would advise against donating via Super Chat, as Mr. Wing is having a couple of issues with AdSense at the moment.
I am, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But thank you, Perfectly Faded Delusions, donated $2, but no comment. But thank you. Thank you.
That's how you do.
I am still having problems with AdSense. They won't allow me to fill out the tax forms that you have to fill out to access your money. And what's holding me back is they keep telling me that my first name is not really my first name. If I wasn't afraid of doxing myself, I have a screenshot of it that I'd show you. Like, wait a minute, it matches perfectly what it says that I'm not typing. I have tried and tried. If you're not familiar, AdSense has a feedback button on your homepage, and I've used that twice now, and it supposedly takes a screenshot of what's going on when you send that. And I've not heard a word, not an email, nothing. And it's 3 days now. 3 days. I'm getting to the point, Baron. I don't want to, but I'm getting to the point that I'm considering shutting down Super Chat until I get this issue resolved.
It's easy enough to do that, actually.
Yeah, it's just that, you know, I love having different options for the people to give, you know, to donate and all that. I don't want to take that away, but why do I want, you know, money to be put in where I'm not able to access it?
Yeah, it's certainly a pain in the ass. I had a problem with them last year at some point. I couldn't get through to them myself, even though I try to contact them from as many different, you know, angles as possible. Just have to keep trying, mate.
Yeah. Like I said to you before the stream, the only thing I haven't tried is contacting them via Twitter. And that's going to be my, after that, I don't know what to do. And I've tried every suggestion that you all gave. I know I didn't necessarily acknowledge that I seen the suggestions that you gave, but I did. And I've tried everything that everybody's told me to do, and nothing works. They just keep wanting to tell me that's not my name. Excuse me, but yes, it is, and has been for 59 years.
Well, let's hope that gets sorted as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get it figured out at some point. But what I'm afraid is going to happen is by the time they do, they're going to say, well, it's too late now to give you your payout this month. You'll have to wait till next month. Anyway, yeah.
And Mr. Owen Harmon says, I'm going to start sending you both via Patreon. I didn't know Google took 30% as super chats. First and foremost, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate that. And yeah, Google does take 30%.
Yeah, they do take 30%. They take 30%, and they only pay out once a month, which, as I've said, I'm very appreciative of. If that's the only way that you have to donate, then by all means, donate. And I'm going to take another look at the OBS again. Or not OBS, Streamlabs, because, you know, you can open up debit cards on Streamlabs, but the last time I looked at it, they wanted my social security number, and I'm just not comfortable with giving that to somebody that's not the government or that I am applying for a job for.
Yeah, as you know, I looked at the options regarding the credit card option to go via Streamlabs and debit card option, and they were just asking for too much from me.
yeah. When it says social security number, I'm like, you don't need that. No. I mean, and those that aren't American may not understand, but if you get a person's a U.S. citizen social security number, you have their entire identity. You can assume their entire just off that one number. And that's why we're really careful with it. Don't need that.
You have your Patreon set to once monthly, don't you?
Yes.
Just like I do, yeah.
I haven't done much with it with Patreon because I don't have but just a couple of patrons. I'm going to fix that. If it becomes more popular, I'll do more with, you know, like extras and perks like you do, Bear.
Well, I don't really have any perks. I did have a bunch, and people just weren't taking advantage of any of them. So I just got rid of all of them. And if you donate $1 or more a month, then you get your name in my credits at the end of my videos. So
thank you, Jaeger Pony, for the very generous donation. In a good mood, get to see my nieces and nephews for a few more days while my older brother and his family are in town. Donations for thee. Hey, good for you.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah. And thank you very much. J Kid, who you making fun of? Beautiful. Is it because he said and thank you, Cryptic. I donate to you via my credit card, Streamlabs. What are you talking about, old man? Because some were complaining that they couldn't use their credit card. with Streamlabs. I don't know. I've never tried to use it, so I don't know.
Yeah, there's an option in there for to make certain types of payments available. So I don't know if it's debit card or credit card or what, but Streamlabs asks for too much, and Reason Vision says Streamlabs OBS. Then Bloodwing uses Google Hangouts for a reason, mate.
Yeah.
Until he's able to purchase a better laptop.
Yeah. I
OBS.
would love to be able to use OBS, and I've got a lot of stuff set up for it that would make this stream really cool, much cooler than it is. But my poor old laptop just won't handle it. We tried it once, and it buffered so much nobody could watch it.
And the thing is with Streamlabs OBS is it's in beta, and it's not the most stable thing in the world.
Yeah.
I've tried to use it as well, man, and it wiped all my sources twice. So
if you're asking what my preferred method of donation is, it's Streamlabs.
Oh, it's everyone.
And that's because they don't take a cut. It goes directly to my PayPal, which means I can instantly access it for whatever I need to. But any way you want to use, including Super Chat, is great, and I appreciate it. Okay, enough of that. I want to share something, though, Bear, that you're aware of, and those that follow me on Twitter. But I know there's people here that don't have Twitter or don't follow me on Twitter. So I want to share this that Grisella made for me.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's amazing.
This is just awesome, and I love it. Let's see. We're going to have to share screen. We're going to have Streamception for just a second.
Boom, 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 boom. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, your Twitter's not in dark mode. Oh.
No, it's not. Will you look at that?
It's awesome.
That is freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Let me ask you, Chat, is that not awesome? Grizz is so talented.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is.
And not only that, I would so read this comic book. I would read it.
There you are. I think it looks awesome.
I do too.
Defense fun. I appreciate you shilling my Streamlabs there, Kyla. Yeah, good boy. The Bloodwing on the cutoff tee is a nice touch. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and he knows I've wore them before. Tees with the sleeves cut off. Yeah, they're comfy and they're cool.
Yeah, Grisella's amazing. The artwork that he's done for all of us has been pretty cool,
Yeah.
man. Mine, I really like mine as well.
Yeah,
I'm going to show mine because you showed me yours.
Yeah. Okay.
If I can find it. Where did I save that to? Oh, I don't know where I saved it.
Deck Train says actually Streamlabs takes 5% for operational and action fees. I don't know. I've never seen it. I get exactly what people have donated.
Yeah.
In my PayPal. So yeah, maybe they do, but I haven't seen it.
Do I have to go into my external hard drive? I think I do. Give me a moment. Oh, did I unplug it? Yes, I did unplug it.
Festering wound trying to aggravate me with the weather there. The weather here's been pretty nice. So yeah, you're not going to get at me as much. It's been in the 60s at least. And the other day it got darn near 80. So
nice and warm.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm just trying to find it.
Jake says, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. What kind of stream is this? That's my boy.
So it's Redneck Radio.
That's right.
Where is it?
Seamus Nervy says, all right, Bear, stop being a boomer. I know, right? I mean, I'm supposed to be the real boomer here.
I can't remember where I store all my stuff. Oh. Sean was asking if I was unwell earlier. A little bit over the last 2 days. I've been a little bit unwell, mate.
We woke him up from a nap just shortly before the stream, so that's why he sounds a little.
Yeah, I had a very short nap as well, so that's probably why my voice is like 10 times deeper than usual. I can't find it.
Take it. How do you lose a ship, Bear?
A what? A ship?
Yeah, that's what he says. I don't know.
What? do you think I'm trying to show the new stream artwork? I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to grab right now. I know where that is. At least I know where something is. No, I'm trying to find my the comic book work that Grisilla did for me.
Grizz did it for you. Well, if you find it, show it at any time. Yeah.
Oh well.
I want to see it.
Oh, where is it? Is it in this folder? It should be. I'm fairly sure I had it on a stream overlay thingy. No? All right, I'll shut up then.
Yeah, and speaking of, Grizz is already talking about working on it a little bit and turning it into a thumbnail for this stream.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to, Grizzo. I replied, but do it.
Oh, I can't find it.
Maybe you will at some point in the future, and we'll take a look at it then.
Yeah. I'm sure it's in some folder somewhere. My bad. No so do you have any news today, Mr. Wang?
Oh, yeah, we've got some news. Before we get started, though, I wanted to say I watched Lords of the Night last night for the first time in a while, because I'm usually pretty drowsy by the time they come on, old men and all that. But they had Sophane on last night.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I did see that in my Twitter timeline.
Yeah, interesting. They all got along pretty well, which I was amazed by. But it was actually enjoyable.
Oh, good. I'm glad they got on.
Yeah. I think Scribe's head was about to bust a little bit because, Sophane's not going to respect the format. And that drives Scribe nuts.
Yeah.
The dude is very OCD about certain things, and that's one of them.
Well, as soon as I couldn't find it, I'll show you what my new stream background looks like.
All right.
Compliments of Mr. Bitmetal.
Very nice.
Yeah. I likes it.
My precious.
I likes it a lot. That's my new stream background anyway.
Yeah. All right. Now let me see if I can get this sorted out here. I've got too many tabs open. Okay, so the news.
Let's get right into the news.
Oh, wait a minute. Sharati Storytime says that they got unsubbed for me. That's happened before. It's happened with all of us creators.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea every once in a while to go through and check to make sure that you're subbed to everybody that you want to be subbed to.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea at all. YouTube, of course, swears up and down there's not a problem. There's no issue. But we all know there is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That happens to me on both of my channels, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, dude, but good thing you caught it.
Bear, you just turned on my Alexa.
Sometimes when a story breaks, you have several options, half a dozen places you can read the story. This particular thing has taken on such a life of its own. There's literally hundreds of links under the story. and it's something that we talked about during the extra grumpy episode Thursday.
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar. So I'm not real sure which one to read. In fact, I may not read any. We may just discuss it for a minute. She is now claiming that Trump and others that have shared her quotes, things that she said, are now inciting violence against her by doing that, and that it is dangerous.
Oh, I think okay. I kind of get where she's coming from. I don't agree with it, but I see where the her logic is with that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's going, hey guys, look at this moron.
yeah, lady, all that people are doing are sharing what you actually said. That's it. And if you didn't want blowback from it, you shouldn't said it.
She is a political figure. She's going to be quoted a lot every time she opens her mouth.
Yeah, of course, her other two freshmen and some other what's Miss 2004 Cherokee or whatever she is, Miss Elizabeth Warren has come out defending her, saying that it's an incitement and it's shameful. And no, all it is repeating what she says. If you didn't want to have every word that you spoke as being public fodder, you should not have become a political figure. That's part and parcel with getting in politics.
Yeah.
There's somebody always watching what you say.
They do it to Trump.
Oh, yeah. And of course, they're saying that now we've took it out of, everybody's took that out of context. I've watched the longer version of where she actually made that. And no, it's really not taken out of context. And besides that, this is one of those rare terms where context is not really going to change anything. It's not the context of what you said. It's the tone deafness of what you said. It's just the way that you said it, no matter the context, just really belittled a really major life-changing, world-changing event that happened to Americans, a thing that most people will never forget.
Yeah, nor should they.
So yeah, we have that. We're inciting violence, and of course she's also thrown out that this wouldn't happen, if I wasn't a black Muslim refugee. There wouldn't be such a big deal.
Well, I mean, I think it would be a pretty big deal if any politician said it, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
If a Republican, if someone from either side said something like that, I'm fairly sure the giant microscope that is the mainstream media would be on that, like a tramp on chips.
Yeah. Owen Martin says there's a column in today's Guardian calling Elizabeth Warren an intellectual heavyweight. What?
Pocahontas?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's the funniest thing I've heard all day. Yeah. I don't know. This bunch just, and of course Nancy Pelosi hasn't called her out on it yet. We know already that she's getting fed up with these the three amigos, I guess we can call them, the three AOC, Omar, and why do I always have trouble remembering the third one's name? The other Muslim chick.
Something Tlaib, isn't it?
Tlaib, yeah.
Yeah. What's her first name?
I don't remember. Isn't that terrible?
Durka.
Yeah, Durka. But she's
Rashida.
We already know she's getting fed up with them from past articles that we've read and so forth. But she hasn't called it out. But she has called out Trump for tweeting about it.
Yeah.
Now, let's be honest. Trump tweeting about it in the way that he did, and the one that he shared, and he shared the cover from, what was it, the New York Post, where it showed the Twin Towers and all that. And was it kind of juvenile? Yeah, sure. You know, sophomoric, whatever you want to call it. But that doesn't make it any less true. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we come to expect some sophomoric behavior from Trump. I mean, come on. He's been in office
pretty
for
much.
years.
Yeah. I mean, he may as well, man, because he gets quote mined more than anybody else on earth at this point.
At this point, if I were him, I would think, you know, I'll just say whatever I want to, because it don't matter what I say. It's gonna get blown out of proportion anyway.
That man says good morning to America on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they have 1,000 people going, fuck you.
I seen it. It actually happened. It did. Right after, the day after the Mueller report come up with nothing, all Trump tweeted was good morning. That was it. Good morning. And oh my gosh, the heads that exploded and went after him.
He doesn't even need to do anything.
No. No, absolutely not. So yeah, I don't blame him for not caring. You know, and as I've always said, I'm not a Trumper. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't own a MAGA hat, but the man cracks me up. I mean, he's such a good troll. You gotta, no matter what you feel about him, you gotta respect his troll ability. He's a master troll.
Yeah, he is. I'd like to see him tweet out ASL ? And then nothing else.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, good grief. These people, and they keep it up, and it's, as I've said many times, and I'll probably keep saying, 2020 is going to be a pretty lonely year for the Democrats if they don't get a handle on these three.
I think it'd be quite interesting.
I honestly will be surprised if Minnesota, because that's middle America, and the only way that she typically, from the best of that, because I've kind of looked into it, I'm like, how did this lady get elected from Minnesota? You know, and I guess what it is Obama had brought over a lot of Somalian refugees, and a huge community of them was dumped right there in Minnesota. So that's the section that she represents. Of course, they voted her in.
Of course.
But I'll be surprised if enough isn't enough at some point, and she either gets forced to quit or somehow gets taken out of office. If she doesn't learn to keep her mouth shut.
All three of them just need to learn to shut up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, by the way, look what I found. Found it.
Oh. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. All right, Bear.
In
this ish, All right, Bear battles his old foe, depression.
So talented. I swear, so talented.
I love the jeans that I'm wearing as well. It's like 1970s, 80s cop. It's fantastic, though.
It is so talented. Somebody said something to me that said, and I've lost where it was, but telling me that Minneapolis was a liberal. Zero the Hero in Minneapolis is a liberal city. Yeah, as most big cities are. major population areas tend to be of liberal bent. I don't understand why that is, but they do. Even my own city of Indianapolis, even though this is a highly red state, there tends to be a lot of liberals around the city here.
Must be the pollution.
Might be.
Since people do lally.
Yeah. Owen Harmon says there was a Somali alderman elected in Minnesota, and he gave his speech in his native language. The room was full of Somalis. Looked like downtown Mogadishu. Yeah.
Yeah, we have quite a few of them over here as well, and they have been for years now. Somalians.
Data says, but I'm a bit disappointed in what Trump said about WikiLeaks. Your thought? I don't know. It depends on what he said. A few things. What exactly are you talking about on WikiLeaks?
No, he pretended like he never even heard of it.
Oh, that? Oh, well, we know he did. I don't know why he's doing that. I don't know. I'm not in the man's head. I can't tell you. You know. But yeah, we know he did.
It's not a good look.
No. Perfectly Faded Delusions says, my friend with the Trump derangement syndrome is from Minnesota. She thinks that woman is brilliant.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Thank you, Six. The next 6 minutes for the donation. Fist bumps for both you gentlemen. High fives to all. Thank you very much.
Fist bump.
Yeah.
Bare fist.
And speaking of WikiLeaks,
what we got?
And I swear I'm not going to go off on a tangent. We're just going to discuss this article. Okay, because I know it makes you nervous, Bear, because it's a touchy situation among our genre.
Go on.
I got away with it Thursday, but I don't know how many times I can get away with it. So I'll behave myself. I'll just stick to it.
Okay.
Assange's arrest was designed to make sure he didn't press a mysterious panic button he said would bring dire consequences for Ecuador.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that legit, is it?
The website's on the Insider. This is Insider. So, yeah, I've read stories from here before.
Okay.
Julian Assange's arrest at the Ecuadorian embassy in London was carried out in a specific way to prevent him from pressing a mysterious panic button he said would bring dire consequences for Ecuador, its foreign minister said.
In other words, releasing some stuff onto WikiLeaks about Ecuador's misbehavior.
Yeah. And these are the people whose goodwill he's depending on to keep him out of the clutches of America and England and everywhere else.
Yeah.
The WikiLeaks founder was carried out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London's Kensington district on Thursday morning by a group of British police officers. Ecuador had earlier revoked his political asylum, alleging repeated bad behavior during his almost 7-year stay. During this stay, Assange is accused of threatening Jaime Merchan, the Ecuadorian ambassador to the UK, with activating some kind of panic button that would bring down the embassy if he were arrested or felt in danger.
Bring down the embassy?
Yeah. The claim was made by Ecuador's foreign minister, Jose Valencia, in a speech Thursday to the country's national embassy, according to the Associated Press and Reuters. Assange has said the button would bring devastating consequences, the AP reported in a summary of Valencia's remarks. It is not clear exactly what form the panic button took, whether it was a physical device or a metaphor for some other easily activated insurance measure. It is also unclear what leverage Assange thought he had over Ecuador. Assange's lawyer did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Business Insider on the nature of the button and whether it existed. According to Valencia, though, it was serious enough for Ecuador to warn British authorities and carry out the raid in such a way that Assange was not able to get back into his room after learning of his imminent arrest. Ecuador granted Assange asylum in June 2012 when he was trying to evade warrants for his arrest in Sweden and the UK. He had failed.
Do you think it was like a pager or something that it would contact a friend of his to release some documents onto WikiLeaks?
Could be a lot of things.
A mobile phone, maybe that's like a text, an email. You could do a lot from a phone.
Yeah,
text, phone call, email, a tweet.
He had failed to appear in court to face charges of sexual assault in Sweden, which he denies. He was also wanted in the UK for breaching prior bail conditions. Ecuador's president announced the removal of Assange's asylum in a Thursday video statement, saying Ecuador's patience had reached its limit on the behavior of Mr. Assange. We've ended the asylum of this spoiled brat, he said. That's his words, not mine. He said in a separate speech hours after Assange's arrest, according to AP. President Lenin Moreno said Assange breached the conditions of his stay by installing prohibited electronic equipment in the embassy. Moreno said Assange also mistreated security guards and accessed the embassy's security files during his stay. The Ecuadorian government also told Assange in a memo that he deliberately pointed a studio lamp at a security camera in a room where he received guests, according to the government memos released by the WikiLeaks founders' supporters in February. Officials have accused Assange of being unhygienic and said his skateboarding ruined their floors. I guess he was riding his skateboard inside the embassy.
Why did they let him do that?
I don't know. Last year, it issued a 9-page memo telling him to clean up after his cat.
He had a cat in there as well?
Evidently.
Okay.
Maria Paulo Roma, Ecuador's interior minister, said Thursday that Assange had been allowed to do things like put feces on the walls of the embassy and other behaviors of that nature, according to Reuters. Ecuadorian authorities deemed this behavior, which they said happened at least once, an act of defiance and disrespect to his hosts, AP reported. Assange lawyers attribute it to stomach problems. What?
Poo on the walls because he had stomach problems.
Yeah, that's the first thing I think about doing when my stomach's upset is let's smear some cat poo on the wall.
I'm not so sure if I believe them. Again, I don't know him, so...
Yeah. In a separate memo, Merchant, the ambassador, also sent Assange complaints that he was playing the radio loudly while meeting visitors, which disturbed the work being carried out by the embassy. The government said it spent $6.2 million on his upkeep and security from 2012 to 2018. Ecuador's expulsion of Assange also comes amid a protracted political dispute within the Latin American country. His ouster comes after years of international and domestic political wrangling between Moreno and his predecessor, Rafael Correa, who granted Assange asylum in 2012. Moreno has also accused WikiLeaks of being behind an anonymous website that said Moreno's brother created offshore companies to fund his family's luxurious lifestyles in Europe while Moreno was working there for the UN, Reuters reported. The U.S. on Thursday requested Assange's extradition, charging him with conspiracy to hack classified U.S. government computers in a document naming the U.S. Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning. He was also convicted of breaching bail conditions in the UK. I promised I won't go off on a tangent, and I won't.
How much did they supposedly spend on him?
6.2 million, I think it said. I already closed it down.
I'm not sure I believe that either.
Yeah, I don't know. But it does bring up the point that there may be a whole lot more going on here than we initially knew about. Maybe. And if some of this stuff comes up as being true, it doesn't really look that good on Mr. Assange. But we don't know if it's true or not. You know, I'm an American. I believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. I just can't imagine him trying to skateboard around an embassy.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
But surely an embassy would be quite busy, wouldn't it? All hours of the day.
You would think. Of course, I've never been inside an embassy before. I've only, on TV.
Yeah,
is it? But
oh wow.
I don't know.
And maybe what? So he had a cat in there as well.
Evidently, according to the article.
Okay. Well, whatever, I guess. But spending that amount of money on it, I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I believe what they're saying or not. I don't know. There's not enough evidence either way.
Yeah.
That there's just not. But it does bring up the point that, you know, it's possible that there's things going on that we didn't know about.
Mm.
You know, so
will happen behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And presumably there is surveillance in there, so they should be able to prove some of it anyway. They should be able to prove the 6.2 million as well, actually. So
hold on a second. Randy Monkey just sent me a DM. He's got the grandbaby today, so he won't be.
Okay. That's fair
me,
enough.
I can't do two things at once. There we go. Not when it takes in reading and writing something at the same time.
I will be back in a moment, mate.
All right. So while Bear's away, chat, I don't think that we've asked, how are you today? And a little bit of dead airspace, just waiting on what I say to catch up with you. Generally takes about 30 seconds. J-Kid says he did, though. Yeah, if the claim that he smeared cat poo on the wall, then yeah, he would probably have to have had a cat to access to do that. We don't know. Don't start screaming at the old man and claiming that he's picking on Assange again. No, I'm not. I just read the article. I leave it for you to make out of it what you want to. Just a reminder that we don't always know everything we think we know about everything when a story breaks. Wait and see.
Yeah. Go wait for more information to come out.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to send you this article, mate, because I can't access it.
Alrighty.
I'll send it in DMs.
Owen Harmon says he's been nursing a savage hangover all day. I'm sorry to hear that, even though that's probably would be termed as self-inflicted. John Connor says, yes, he had a cat.
As soon as you said that.
That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. And I hope chat could hear that.
Strong work, Lily.
If you couldn't hear what just happened, the minute that I said that, his cat meows. Bear's cat speaks up.
Oh God.
Brian Donovan says, good day, gentlemen. It's way too hot down here in Nicaragua way. Now you can laugh at my pain. Okay. There. I laughed at your pain.
Yeah, it's nice weather in the UK today. Well, at least in my neck of the woods anyway.
Yeah.
Not too hot, not too cold.
It's I haven't been outside today, but it's looking a little hazed over. I'm guessing it's in the 60s because it's about 74 degrees in the house.
Mm.
I would turn the air conditioner on because that's a little warm for me, but my wife complains that I freeze her out. So, this guy, yeah, I heard about that. I forget where I heard about this.
Twitter?
I don't know. Florida man arrested outside Olive Garden after eating pasta belligerently. You belligerent pasta eater, you.
Yeah.
A drunk Florida man was arrested outside Olive Garden after eating pasta in an inappropriate manner. Inappropriate. Well, let me reread that. A drunk Florida man was arrested outside Olive Garden after eating pasta in an inappropriate manner. There we go. According to the Miami Herald, officers with Naples Police Department were dispatched to the chain restaurant around 3:30 p.m. Sunday regarding a disturbance. A man was reportedly asking restaurant patrons for money and yelling at them using explicit language. When police arrived, they discovered a shirtless man sitting on a bench outside the establishment. The man was allegedly shoving spaghetti into his mouth with his hands. The man, identified as 32-year-old Ben Paget, was placed under arrest for disorderly intoxication, according to the newspaper. You think? However, before being placed in handcuffs, officers gave Paget a paper towel so he could wipe the pasta off his face. Herald also reports while in the back of the police car, Paget began violently twisting his body, kicking his legs, and smashing his head against the metal cage partition. Paget was transported to the Naples jail center. He reportedly faced an additional charge of resisting an officer without violence and was released on $2,000 bond.
Sorry. He enacted violence against himself, though.
Yeah, one of the other articles I'd heard someone read. This may have been on Lords of the Night last night. I don't know. I heard it somewhere. One of the other articles claimed that he actually busted his head open doing that, and they had to take him to the hospital first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. I was reading chat there. It caught my attention for a minute. As I've said before, whenever I switch back to the screen of the actual stream, my chat will suddenly take off because it'll just pause right where it was at when I flipped over.
Yeah.
BG, we don't know what we think we know. Not surprising with your 6th grade education. That's edumacation. Thank you. Data Wasteland Blood, we would not know a lot of things if it was not for Assange and WikiLeaks warring crimes in the first Bush-Iraq war, emails of Hillary and her thief of the press run from Bernie. Maybe. You know, don't come at me because this is my opinion, and I made it very clear the other day. I'm not that big a fan of Julian Assange. You all are welcome to be. I just don't think he's all that in a bag of chips, if you will.
Trigger them. Disagree with them more, Bloodwing.
Yeah, that's just my opinion, and I'm welcome to my opinion just as you are yours. J-Kid, of course it was Florida. Yeah, it always is. You know, it always is.
There's a lot going on in that state.
You know, I had this discussion with my brother-in-law yesterday when I was standing outside talking with him. I just looked at him, and he looked at me, and he says, just out of what is it with people in Florida? I said, I don't know. It must be something in the water. Must be something in the water, because they be crazy.
It's funny, isn't it? Because northern Florida, they're all like rednecks, aren't they?
Yep.
That's where my where Vanilla some of Vanilla Bear's family lives. And they're like proper rednecks that go mud in. They make moonshine and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of cattle raised in northern Florida, and horse ranches and stuff like that.
Yeah. Have fun, Brian.
Yeah.
Don't get sunburnt.
Yeah. Put on the sunblock, dude. We don't want you to get burnt. Evil One, not saying he's a great person, just saying if you convict him, you have to convict all the media. They do all the same things. And I wouldn't be opposed to that. I've been very clear that I have no respect for today's media. It is not reporting. What they do is not reporting. I got no problem with that. They're just, it's become nothing but just opinions. And that's not the news.
We can't arrest them for opinions, but if they start hacking into governmental databases and stuff and start dumping onto websites.
All I'm saying here, folks, let's not make more out of this than it is, okay? All I'm saying is let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what shakes out. You know,
James, I already replied to you in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to move on. Scroll down here.
I have an article.
Oh, you go right ahead.
If you would like some news,
yeah,
it is a bit British centric, but it is related to YouTube, so I'm sure we'll all get a kick out of this. Sargon of Akkad, anti-feminist YouTuber selected as UKIP election candidate.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about this. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days now. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing or not. Social media commentator previously drew condemnation from party spokesman over clash with Labour MP Jess Phillips. And of course, if you don't know who Jess Phillips is, she's the very, very common sounding, overweight, feminist Labour's left-wing British party, by the way. Yeah, basically our versions of the Liberal Democrats. Jess Phillips is the lady that Sargon threatened not to rape.
Yeah. Well, he said he says, I wouldn't even rape you.
Yeah. UKIP has selected an anti-feminist Eurosceptic YouTube commentator as a candidate should the UK take part in European Parliament elections next month. See, we don't need any more heat on YouTube right now, so there's already one downside. Karl Benjamin, who posts online using the moniker Sargon of Akkad, is one of two candidates the Eurosceptic Party named on Thursday to stand in the Southwest region. J Kid asks, what is UKIP? It's the United Kingdom Independence Party. I'm sure you probably heard of Nigel Farage. He was the leader of UKIP for quite some time prior to Gerard Batten taking over. I want to say thanks. Sorry, chat went up, and I'm doing two things at once. Bear, please, can you do a video on Prevent? I don't know what Prevent is. Where was I? We went through an exhaustive process to sift over 190 potential candidates down to those the National Executive Committee representatives and I felt were most suitable, UKIP leader Gerard Batten said. This list is based on a number of factors that we felt would select candidates to fight for a real Brexit after the European elections. UKIP's priority is to have MEPs who will fight to make Brexit happen. Mr. Nigel Farage. Mr. Benjamin has close to 1 million subscribers to his YouTube channel, on which he produces videos criticizing feminism, left-wing politics, and the European Union. What do you think? There is more to it, but what do you think about this, Bloodwing?
You know, I can't say that I know Karl. Sargon of Akkad, Karl Benjamin. I don't know him that well. Probably at most I interacted with him on Twitter a little bit just before he got bounced off for the last time.
He's back on, mate. He has two accounts now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he has a UKIP one, and he has his super secret identity,
which probably isn't so secret, but you know, but I used to follow his content quite a lot. I watched a lot of it, you know, a couple of years ago before everything started coming apart for him. So much hate started coming down on him.
Yeah.
I liked his content quite a bit. Like always, I don't know anybody I 100% agree with all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of anyone, not even you, Bear or Monkey or any of my friends. I don't
Yeah.
You know, I don't know anybody 100% Gary. My own son, Jake, is out in the chat, and then we disagree on quite a bit of things. But as far as running for office, look, if I've learned any lesson from AOC and all that we've talked about her on this stream and other streams and so forth, is that being good on social media does not make you a good politician.
Well, Sharati, why are you saying sorry?
So that would be my only concern. You know, I don't know. You know, I think Karl's an intelligent guy, but is he up to politics? I don't know. That's a completely different game than what he's been playing up to this point.
I certainly have my criticisms of Sargon, and I've even made videos criticizing him before. But yeah, if there's any proof that morons can do well in politics, Diane Abbott is a thing, and so is AOC.
Yeah.
Difference being is I'm fairly sure Sargon never went to university though, whereas they did. On one hand, it's a content creator who's not just making videos and complaining about stuff, just as Thingy in the chat said there. They're actually trying to do something about it, and there's an actual movement behind it. All right, okay. On the other hand, he's a shitlord.
Yeah.
One who's chosen to insert himself into tons of drama, and it also brings negative light onto YouTube, and there's already enough of that as it is. Well, he won't be representing me, so
yeah. I mean,
so
I don't know if he's up for it, because you know it's a completely different game than what he's played up to this point. A whole other world, politics. But if he can pull it off and do well at it, more power to him. You know.
Oh, I agree, Furry Kitten. He needs to have a proper suit instead of just a shirt and tie.
Yeah. Angry Illinois says, I have a lot of haters today, only 8 likes with 40 watching. I don't know, I'm showing 25 likes. But that's still not very many.
I'm seeing 26.
So we can do better than that, guys. And you can't be that mad at me because I don't agree with some of you about Julian Assange. I mean, come on.
Functional. Sorry, mate. I couldn't remember who said it. I didn't want to scroll up. There would always be a negative. Yeah, I know, of course. But the thing is, MEPs can't do shit, boys. The only thing he'll only ever be able to do is gob off in the European Parliament. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, all he'll be able to do is he'll get his 3, 4, 5 minutes to stand up and make a speech every so often, and that's it. I mean, he's going to make a lot of money doing this. A lot of money. Lots of money. He won't be on YouTube nearly as much because he'll be traveling back and forth between Brussels and the UK. He won't be able to do that much, you know. You guys are giving MEPs way too much way too much credence, really, because it doesn't really do anything. And you're giving UKIP way too much fucking pride as well, because they're not elected. There aren't any UKIP MPs. They can't hold anybody to account. Yeah. Anybody. So, I mean, it looks like something, but he won't be able to get much done.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, if he can do it and pull it off, hey, more power to him. More power to him.
If he wants to go over there and he wants to gob off at Guy Verhofstadt or any of the others, you know, then all right, cool. I'll watch those videos and I'll laugh, as I'm sure they'll be quite funny to watch him troll them. But you know, that's all it's going to be, you know. And he won't be representing me. It's not a seat at the table, though, is it? We don't even have veto powers, Faithless.
You know, I've had people, mostly in jest, subscribers and whatnot, say that I should run for office. And, you know, I don't want to be in politics. First of all, I probably wouldn't fit very well into it because I am really grumpy. And I'd be just as apt to tell somebody to shut up and sit down as to listen to their crap.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to go over well for a politician. I don't have enough control over my mouth to be a politician. You know,
Well, I mean, AOC has no control over her mouth.
yeah, I tend to say what I think.
Faithless, no. He could probably do more with his YouTube channel than what he could do as an MEP. It's a single vote on random pieces of legislation.
See, there you are. Even my own son, J-Kid, I would not want blood in office. What a terrible idea. Yeah. See, he knows. He knows.
I'd vote for you.
Yeah, I'm sure I'd get some votes, you know, but I'm not sure how good an idea it would be. I'm just not cut out for it. Not to mention that they pick your life apart. I did, you know, as AOC and Omar and Tlaib are finding out, they are now in the public domain, and I wouldn't want my life to be out there in the public domain.
Same.
You know.
Same. Yeah, I wouldn't want that fine tooth comb on me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I still enjoy relative obscurity and my privacy. You don't have that when you're a politician.
Yeah, and some of the shit that Sargon's done it doesn't look good.
No.
And it's going to reflect on UKIP. And,
that's the first thing that's going to happen, and that's what he needs to be looking at is they're going to go back and revisit his life and his online presence and his channel and everything that he's ever said or done, and it's all going to be brought back out and beat to death.
Yeah, the first thing that's going to happen is the Patreon thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just acting like a bunch of niggers, mate. That's the first thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to run for office.
If somebody chooses to take offense to that, they could go to the police about it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure how good an idea it is, but I wish him luck.
Although if he did end up in some kind of giant court case, it'd only make him bigger anyway. So
yeah.
I shall continue to read. His followers went on to repeat his statement, and Ms. Phillips later tweeted 600 odd notifications talking about my rape in one night. I think Twitter is dead. A UKIP spokesman has previously condemned Mr. Benjamin's comments, telling The Independent at the time he joined the party the exchange with Ms. Phillips was unpleasant. Mr. Benjamin is one of several prominent social media activists who joined the party under the leadership of Mr. Batten, who has been accused of pulling the party towards the hard right. Mark Meekan, known as Count Dankula and noted for the court case surrounding a video he posted online of his girlfriend's pug dog performing Nazi salutes, joined the party last year. And Paul Joseph Watson, the editor-at-large of Alex Jones' Far Right, it's not Far Right Morons, InfoWars website, and a YouTuber with more than 1.6 million subscribers, also joined the party in 2018. I did see that Paul Joseph Watson was oohing and ahhing about running as an MEP himself, which would be quite interesting. Mr. Batten has also come under fire for appointing anti-Islam activist Tommy Robinson in an advisory role, a move that caused long-time UKIP leader Nigel Farage to quit the party. The UK is likely to take part in European elections in May after EU leaders agree to grant a flexible 6-month extension to Article 50 process on Wednesday. And that's the end of the article.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know it's American politics, not English, but you know, here we've already had an actor as president who was a pretty daggum good president, in my opinion. You think what you want, but I had more money under Reagan in my pocket than ever in my life before or since. And now we have what's basically a reality TV star in Trump, you know, as president. So, you know, if they can do it, I guess anybody can, but I don't know if it's a good idea.
Well, to be fair, that was the president of the United States of America, where he can get shit done.
Yeah.
You have a super chat there as well, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, Willingham. Just imagine Bloodwing throwing chew cans and cigar stubs at AOC and the Democrats. No, the first thing I would probably say to AOC is, darling, did your mama ever have any children that lived?
Pardon?
The first thing I would probably say to AOC is, darling, did your mama ever have any children that lived?
I thought that's what you said.
Yeah.
Just wasn't sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, I would get, you think Trump gets in a lot of trouble? Oh, God, I would get crucified because I really have no filter. But
Atomic Squid saying, got to start somewhere, or maybe a shit poster drawing attention into the belly of the beast is what is needed here.
well, yeah, and that was my point with Reagan. Reagan was an actor. He was a freaking TV, a movie actor, but he ended up being a very good president. You never know. You just never know. And you're right. You do have to start somewhere. But,
he ain't gonna be able to get anything done. He's going to be be elected to an MEP, and the most he'll be able to do is vote on new bits of legislation that come through, things like Article 13 and whatnot.
Yeah,
and gob off. That's about it.
I don't know. And well, I guess we'll see. I guess we will see.
Well, Jake, is anybody getting anything done anyway? Not in British politics, is not. No, seems to be going backwards over here. I don't know about you guys.
Not any better in American politics. I mean, how long have the Dems been in control now since this last election? At least 100 days, right?
Yeah.
At least. And what have they got done?
Well, what have they got done?
Nothing.
Block Trump's wall.
Yeah, they blocked Trump's wall, and they tried to get him on the Russia thing, which seriously didn't pan out. They've done a lot of hollering and screaming and yelling, but they haven't got any real policy change done. Nothing.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Probably mostly local level shit, surely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, granted, I haven't researched it in great detail, but there's certainly not been anything that was important enough to make the news, you know, to make the public consciousness. I don't know. Okay, we'll move on. Well, let's pick on old Bernie Sanders. We don't do that too often.
How is old Bernie anyway?
Yeah, well, old Bernie it says that his Medicare for All plan includes health care for illegal immigrants. Senator Bernie Sanders, independent Vermont, newly unveiled Medicare for All plan, backed by a host of other 2020 Democratic presidential hopefuls, would open the door to give health care to illegal immigrants, a marked left-wing departure from past proposals for health care reform. The legislation unveiled by Sanders this week and signed onto by Senators Kirsten Gillibrand, New York, Kamala Harris, Democrat, California, Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey, and Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts, does not speak directly about immigrants, but refers to covering U.S. residents instead. Both Sanders' bill in the Senate and a corresponding House bill introduced by Representatives Pramila Jayapal, Democrat,
Foreign.
Washington, and Debbie Dingell, Democrat, Michigan, would extend coverage to every U.S. citizen, U.S. resident, a shift from the Affordable Care Act, which limited benefits to citizens, nationals, and lawfully present immigrants. The House bill also prohibits the government from denying benefits because of citizenship status. While the Health and Human Services Secretary is given the task of defining residency, the federal government is tasked with taking steps to ensure that every person in the United States has access to health care, the Washington Examiner notes. Sanders told CBS News' Ed O'Keefe that his bill guarantees, like every other major country on earth, health care to every man, woman, and child in this country. He told the Washington Post, my plan would cover every U.S. president or U.S. resident. I'm sorry. Such provisions are not new for Sanders, who has in the past pushed plans that would not exclude those in the country illegally. But it does mark a change for the 2020 field as a whole, which has moved dramatically to the left. Sanders's bill would also mostly abolish private health insurance. Some estimates put the cost up to $32 trillion over the next decade.
Oof.
Neither the House nor the Senate bill is likely to be made law while Republicans control the Senate and the White House. Republicans would almost certainly oppose either bill as a bloc, but even on the Democratic side, the plan would face significant resistance. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, said in February that Medicare for all may not be as good a benefit as the Affordable Care Act, which is not good at all, people. It doesn't have a catastrophic coverage. You have to go buy it. It doesn't have dental. It's not as good as the plans that you can buy under the Affordable Care Act, she told Rolling Stone in an interview. So I say to them, come in with your ideas, but understand that we're either going to have to improve Medicare for all, including seniors, or else people are not going to get what they think they're going to get, she said. And by the way, how's it going to be paid for? Thank you, Mrs. Pelosi. Again, you're making me defend you. I hate that.
Blood wings a Democrat.
That's always my question, you know, and I'm, excuse me, and it's not that I'm entirely heartless, but if you're in this country illegally, I have absolutely and do not feel any obligation to provide you with health care.
If the only thing you feel obligated to provide them with is a one-way ticket to get the fuck out.
A boot in the butt.
You're criminals.
Yeah. As to the broader concept of a single payer plan, she put the cost at $30 trillion and asked, now, how do you pay for that? Exactly. That's the question that always needs to be asked of these pie in the sky ideas that some of these leftists come up with. It all sounds good on the surface, but who's going to pay for it?
Yeah, the taxpayer, of course. Who else?
Senator Chuck Schumer, Democrat, New York, expressed skepticism this week, saying it was just one of several proposals the party is considering. Different Democrats have different ways to get there. But the pushback from Democratic leadership has not stopped the shift by both House freshmen and 2020 presidential candidates, particularly on the thorny issue of illegal immigration. Former San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro has called for illegal immigration to be treated as a civil rather than a criminal matter. Meanwhile, Gillibrand, as part of her call for comprehensive immigration reform, suggested that she wants to expand Social Security to those in the country illegally. Screw you. That's mine. I've paid into that my entire working life, and I am a U.S. citizen born and raised here. How dare you suggest to share that with people that haven't put into it?
Yeah.
First, we need comprehensive immigration reform, she said last month in Iowa. If you are in this country now, you must have the right to pay into Social Security, to pay your taxes, to pay into the local school system, and to have a pathway to citizenship. That must happen. There are pathways to citizenship, sweetheart. And no, we don't have to give them the right to all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the right to that, you can have it if you come into the country legally.
Yep.
No, just no. No. 1,000 times no.
I think Bloodwing's against the idea, guys.
Look, I'm not I'm not a fan of FDR in a lot of ways. I think he was the right president, wartime president during the war. He was the right man for the job. But he had visions of grandeur. He wanted to be king. I mean, he went for a 4th term, right?
Yeah.
And got it. He just happened to die before he could serve it. But one of the things I do appreciate that he started was Social Security. And for those that aren't aware, that aren't Americans, that it's a thing that you pay into. We give a little bit out of our checks each and every week that goes into a Social Security account, which is like a government savings account, more or less. And they hold on to that money. Now, that, trust me, they use that money, and it's supposed to earn interest. But it's there to be paid out to you specifically once you reach the age of 65. And now that I'm very close to that age, it is, of course, a very important topic to me.
Pension.
Yeah. It's not meant to replace, but to supplement. But for a lot of Americans, and I'll probably be included among those, that'll be the only income you have post 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, Duck Dog. Yeah, I'm aware of that, but he wasn't able to complete his term. He just barely got it started. Point was that he he wanted to be king, more or less.
King of the United States of America.
And yes, cynical Lindsay, that was a terrible thing. And trust me, FDR done a lot of bad things that gets glossed over by the left. What I mean for that he was right for the job is he wasn't afraid to make the hard decisions as far as the war was concerned, and he got along famously with the UK Prime Minister
Winston Churchill, who was
Winston
also
Churchill.
the right man for the job at the time as well.
Yeah.
He had some pretty insane ideas himself.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Back to the, Michael Weiner says, I'm 60 and I'm worried about this topic as well. Exactly. It's not even going to be that much. So I don't want to share it with people that haven't paid into it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Is that stingy of me? Is that cruel of me? I don't know. And I don't care if you think it is. I don't want to share it. I've worked hard all my life, and part of that money has been put into that Social Security, among other things. And I have a right to that. If you haven't, you don't. End of story. I mean, it's that clear to me.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Question, Bloodwing: if a person pays into Social Security their whole working life and passes away before they start collecting, what happens to that money? There is such a thing as it being given to the survivors, or at least a portion of the money.
Is that like a widower's pension?
Kind of like, yeah.
Or widow's pension.
No, Bernie, daggum. And which brings up the matter. What's with all these people that have come out of the woodwork going to run for the Democratic nomination of the president? How many of them are there now? I can't even keep track anymore.
Bernie's running, isn't he?
Yeah.
Beto is running. Is he?
Yeah.
Is Hillary going to run, or is she not?
No, she's not. I think she's finally learned her lesson.
I wasn't sure about her.
Yeah.
Biden, yeah. Creepy Joe.
Yeah, Creepy Joe. Mayor Pete.
I don't know who that one is.
That's the one that's from my state, the gay person that's been fighting with Pence lately.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. I think there's at least close to a dozen.
The Asian fella?
Yeah.
I forget his name as well. Beto dropped out.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Oh Lord, talk about a joke. But yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton.
There's quite a
It's
few.
amazing. But the sad part is, and this article kind of touched on a little bit, is the vast majority of them are really far left.
It's not a good look.
No, and America's just not, by and large, not ready to go that far left. You know, even the Democratic Party is having trouble with these people. Like, no, that's a little bit too out there for me. Jay Wolf says last count I saw was 18. I don't doubt that. I believe that every bit. Yeah. That's a lot of freaking people running for office out of one party.
Well, the primary should be interesting then.
Oh, the primary. Barry, you don't even know. The Democratic primary, both primaries can get vicious, but historically, the Democratic primary is just a dogfight.
Mm.
It is a dogfight. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Personally, as creepy as he is, I think Biden probably has the best chance of all of them of making it through the primary, because
that's what I've heard from most Americans.
He's the least far left of the group.
Yeah.
So what's that tell you? When old Creepy Joe is the best chance they got. It's not very good.
Got to imagine if he actually did and became the president in 2020. All the children that he could sniff.
Oh. Okay, well, we've reached that time in the stream where Bloodwing has to go to the bathroom. So if you guessed an hour and something like 50 minutes, I think, or no, 20 minutes.
Hour and 22.
Yeah, you're the winner. Talk to the chat, Bear, and keep them satisfied.
I will do my best. What's going on, chat? I hope you're well. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Do us a favor, guys. You'll support Bloodwing, support Redneck Radio. You can do so by dropping a like on the stream. I'd really appreciate it. Bloodwing would appreciate it even more. You can also take one step further by sharing the stream to your social media. Help Bloodwing to grow a nice little bit. And of course, if you want to part with a few shekels from your wallet, you can support the old man by donating via Streamlabs and Patreon in the description. And we would prefer if you didn't go through Super Chat at the moment, guys, because Bloodwing's having a few issues with the AdSense. Really, really do appreciate it, guys. J-Kid. Oh, yes. Satisfy us, Bear. Gobble, gobble. Wax on, Bear. I will. Data Wasteland. The man who invented insulin gave away the patent for $1 to help mankind in his country. It cost a $5 copay for a 3-month supply. Here it costs an arm and a leg, literally. Well, that's big pharma for you. Watch Psychopaths. No. I'm currently binging anime at the moment. I got a brand new series to watch that I'm currently working my way through at the moment, and that of course would be Black Clover, which I'm still not entirely sure what it's about yet. As far as I'm aware, it's about a 15-year-old teenager with black hair who's taken his screaming disabled friend to the big city to get him some help. It's not really about that, but the main protagonist does scream a lot. Oh, Psychopaths. Okay, well, I'm currently watching a different anime at the moment. Hey, Robert, what are your thoughts on Jacob Rees-Mogg? I'm 50-50 on him at the moment. 50-50. He's pissed me and a lot of other people off with his little bit of a flip-flop here and there on various issues, things like freedom of speech, for example. Him being a member of the religious right always had me a little bit nervous about him. And of course, him wanting to support Theresa May's deal. You know, he calls himself a Brexiteer, yet wants to stay shackled to the customs union and the single market. You know, I kind of get where he's coming from, but her deal's garbage. Her deal is utter complete garbage, and no one who calls themselves a Brexiteer would ever support that deal, no matter what happens. Cynical Lindsay Bear, what are your thoughts on the new Star Wars trailer? I have not seen it yet, although I have seen people talking about it. Bear, did you check out that trailer I sent you? What was it? What was it? You're going to have to be more specific, man. I watch a lot of content, as well as producing it. Push Button says Tim Ryan, Bernie Sanders, Eric Swalwell, Elizabeth Warren, Marianne Williamson, Andrew Yang. That's the guy I was trying to remember his name, and not Richard Oeda. I don't know who withdrew. Okay, I'm probably mispronouncing that name. So what are you guys up to over the weekend then? Is anybody going out for a few drinks, having a wee boogie, having a wee dance on the dance floor, blaming it on the boogie? Or blame Boogie himself. It was a game called Subverse. It's like Mass Effect, but with waifus. Did you send me that? Send it again. Send it again. And he's back. He's returned.
I have.
A wee boogie. A little dance.
Well, you get J Kid, I think, is probably the same as I am. And we are far too white to be able to dance. So, yeah. The only dance there's only been 2 dances in my life I've been able to do. One is a slow dance, and God, anybody can do that. You could just hang on each other and shuffle your feet around, right? The other is the old dance from the 70s, the bump. And if you could bump your hips together in time to the music, you could do the bump. That's all it took. So, yeah, I can't dance. No.
Lindsay says a boogie gets blamed for everything. Apparently, he is literally Hitler. Yeah, I do feel for Boogie, but he does bring a lot of it on himself as well. At the same time.
He does. I like Boogie. I do. He's a likable fella. But yeah, he gets a little too far in his feels sometimes, and he brings it on himself.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch his Twitter over the last week or so, he's been kind of venting about the attacks on him by the trolls and stuff. Like, he even knows that the more he talks about these kind of things, the more he's feeding the trolls by doing so. And I do feel for him, but he does tend to have a bad habit of bringing this shit on himself, though. I like him. I think he's a very nice man. But his progressive stances and stuff, and the fact that he always tends to back down from positions that he seems to believe in quite strongly is a bit annoying.
Jay Wolf says, "How about that pee-pee dance blowing?" I'm a pro at that one. I am a pro at that one.
I have more news.
Well, then why don't you read that news?
Ex-Pope Benedict blames abuse scandals on sexual freedom of the 60s.
Okay.
Former Pope Benedict, the fucking 100,000 fucking sextillion, on Thursday blamed the Catholic clerical sex abuse scandals on the 1960s sexual revolution and a collapse in faith in the West, immediately drawing criticism from some theologians. The ex-pontiff, who retired in 2013 and chose to be known thereafter as Pope Emetrius, fucking foreign, said responsibility for the crises rocking the Roman Catholic Church globally, from Australia to Europe, lay with the fight for an all-out sexual freedom, one which no longer admitted any norms. He asserted that paedophilia reached such proportions because of the absence of God. Really, dude?
Really? Real quick, Duck Dog says, while the doctor was in there, why didn't he replace that squirrel bladder with a human one? I know, right? He was right in the right area. I guess one animal menagerie in my body is enough. Go ahead, Bear.
Parts of the physiognomy of the revolution of 68 was that pedophilia was then also diagnosed as allowed and appropriate. By fucking who?
No, it wasn't. No, it was not. And I was alive in the 60s, folks.
I don't know what country he's talking about, but it ain't the UK and it ain't America. I know that much.
No, the
Uh,
pedophilia has always been a big, huge no.
yeah. Benedict, born in Germany as Joseph Ratzinger and turning 92 next week, wrote in a 6,000-word essay for Blatt, a German monthly magazine for clergy. Benedict, who was the first pontiff to resign in almost 600 years, said the direct consequence of the 1960s period of counterculture and sexual activism in Europe and America was the collapse of the next generation of priests in those years and the very high number of laicians or priests leaving the church. Or maybe it's because the Catholic Church hasn't had the best vetting procedure. I don't know, you know. And has historically held far too much power. But back before his elevation to the papacy in 2005, when he was Cardinal Ratzinger, he headed the Vatican department that investigates sexual abuse. Oh, good Lord. He was in charge of it. Oh, no. Some theologians were quick to criticize Benedict's analysis of the causes of clerical pedophilia, which appeared to go against efforts by his successor, Pope Francis, to deal with the church's global abuse crisis. Julie Rubio, professor of social ethics at Santa Clara University's Jesus School of Theology, said the letter was deeply flawed and profoundly troubling. Understatement. Oh, good Lord. Literally. Catholic theologian Brian Flanagan described the letter as embarrassing. Again, understatement, guys. The idea that ecclesial abuse of children was a result of the 1960s, a supposed collapse of moral theology, is an embarrassingly wrong explanation of the systemic abuse of children and its cover-up.
Okay, look, let me talk to you as somebody that was alive in the 60s. Yes, there was a sexual revolution. Absolutely there was. There's no denying it happened. Things that were once taboo became more acceptable. That much is true. But that doesn't mean people just as many people weren't having sex before in, like, say, the 50s and the 40s and all that. They just hid it. You know, they just did it behind closed doors and didn't talk about it because, you know, people looked down on you for it and so forth. You know, all the revolution did was just bring it out in the open. It really didn't cause anything that wasn't already going on. It just brought it out in the open. Because if you think that people weren't having sex in the 1950s, how do you explain the baby boomers?
They're banging.
Yeah.
They didn't stop.
And that has zero to do with pedophilia.
Yeah.
Zero to do with pedophilia. Just, oh my gosh, dude. Now I know that he retired because he was getting aged. He was getting up there and getting feeble. I think his mind must be gone.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, but he seems to have held this view for quite some time, though.
You know, I don't know. I'm not Catholic, and I'm not really sure just, you know, how they think sometimes, and I'm not saying anything against the Catholic faith, and you know, don't get mad at me. I'm just not Catholic. I'm not. So, but my God.
Yeah, that's some bullshit right there. It's almost as if a bunch of pedos and have over the last several decades have decided to insert themselves into the Catholic Church as priests because they know that they could get away with it there, you know?
Yeah, MC says disagree that people were just the same with sex. Proof was simply in the teenage pregnancy rate. Yeah, it rose because it was more acceptable. It was more out in the open. It was, if you were a teenager and you got pregnant in the 50s, it was hushed up and you were rushed away, you know, to have the baby in secret, you know, or you were really looked down upon. You were a fallen woman.
Mm.
And the revolution of the 60s did change that, you know, as to more, well, things happen.
Yeah, it did not make pedophilia acceptable. So please shut the fuck up, old man. Not you, Bloodwit.
No, I know who you're talking to. The fellow said, God, good Lord, that's got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Oh, did you have any more news, or should I read this article I have here as well?
Oh, if you've got an article, you can read it. I did have some more pulled up, but I'd have to find it. You know me.
Yeah, the missus sent me this via Twitter whilst we were talking. It's from the Mirror. Let me see, when was this from? 13th of April. Okay, so today. Mum dumped after microblading treatment leaves her with 4 eyebrows.
What?
It's not quite 4, but it looks quite funny. I'll have to share screen. There you go. It's more like she has 3. The other
one big one across the top there, and then the 2 below it.
Yeah, I just. She looks a bit. What? Okay. So there you go.
Oh.
You got one eyebrow raising an eyebrow to the other eyebrow, like. It's not really 4, but there is like a line here that I can see that's protruding out of it. So
yeah.
She looks mental, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I always get gassy on Redneck Radio. Oh, fantastic.
Oh, you call that gas? You ain't heard. Shoot. Ain't nothing.
Shoot.
Ain't nothing. Ask J Kid. I can blow you plumb out the water.
It's not really something to brag about, to be fair.
Sure it is. I'm a man. Farts are funny.
Oh, that stinks. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Nothing worse than your own fart stinking you out of the room.
Oh. It's made me a bit hungry, actually. Hey, if you had any more news, mate, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't checked our hashtag. So let's see. I don't know that there's anything in there.
Chaos at Walmart as woman performs karate. Son exposes himself. Dog steals food. There's a lot going on in that headline.
Yeah. I think it was another one they read on Lords of the Night last night. No, there's nothing there that we haven't.
Did you want me to read this insane one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty, I'll just pop the chat back out so I can see it. Jake, just another day at Walmart. Well, the videos that I've seen, yeah. Chaos descended on a Wisconsin Walmart store Wednesday night after a karate performing mother, her naked son, and their belligerent dog shoplifted and ran amok in the store. The Eau Claire Police Department said on social media that the officers responded to a call that a woman, Lisa Smith, 46, and her dog, Bo, shoplifted items from the store. The woman's son, 26-year-old Benny Van, was causing chaos in the store as well. Police learned that Smith came into the shop with Bo unleashed, with the dog immediately running off towards customers, while the woman was pulling apart displays in the store and placing them in her cart. Oh, good Lord. Jake says, as a former overnight manager at Walmart, I could write a book on things I've seen. You probably should.
Yeah, I've heard some of the stories. Yeah.
Tales of Walmart. Or Walmart After Dark. It would sell millions of copies. After being told to leave the store, the woman began showing off her karate moves in the parking lot to fend off police officers.
Hiya! Hiya!
The dog tried to flee the crime scene.
You know it's bad when the dog looks says, "No, I'm noping the heck right out of here."
I'm out. Albeit unsuccessfully, with a box of Jiffy cornbread muffin mix in his mouth. After a brief fight with the officers, Smith was arrested. As a last-ditch attempt, she tried to kick a window out of a police car. Her son, meanwhile, was getting fully naked and began exposing himself to other customers at the store. He then tried to cover himself with new clothes from the store without intending to pay for them. After officers confronted Van, he threatened to run over them with his scooter, prompting the police to use physical force to stop the scooter and arrest the man. The mother was charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and misdemeanor bail jumping. The son is facing charges of lewd behavior, disorderly conduct, and retail theft. The only character to get off scot-free is Bo the dog. Bo was caught by officers in the store and brought to the Humane Association. The dog was not charged. We issued him with a warning for the theft.
And this was where? Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I think that they're Florida transplants.
It certainly sounds like it, doesn't it? Like, if you see the picture of these two, like, I automatically thought Florida man.
Yeah, I don't know though. The only thing is, and I think SoFame brought this up when they read the story last night. If they were really from Florida, a proper Florida man does not share his meth. Oh my gosh!
It's a team building exercise. It's a family day. Faithless,
right?
Who gets high with their mother and dog? Well, that dude should be asking why did he get naked whilst his mother was around, but so she won't see. She's currently doing karate outside.
But that was pretty good. The dog noped the heck out. It's like, nope. I'm done.
So I'm gonna take this and go while I can. Oh God.
All right. We've got time for at least one more story. And I'm waiting for it to load. You know my slow computer. There we go.
You have a story. Good.
Man on flight randomly touched the faces of passengers, sprayed unknown substance, then jumped once plane landed.
He did what?
Randomly touched the faces of passengers, sprayed unknown substance, and then jumped once the plane landed.
Oh no.
It was a strange episode on American Airlines flight 1346 Friday, as a 25-year-old man touched the faces of other passengers and sprayed them with an unknown substance before jumping off the grounded plane, Phoenix, Arizona police said in a press release. The incident began Friday morning as a plane from Minneapolis was landing at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Police said the man had been acting strange on the flight. The man then randomly touched the faces of other passengers and sprayed an unknown substance from a spray bottle on them. The man was brought to the front of the plane to get off before the other passengers. While waiting for the main door of the plane to open, the man opened a service door on the other side of the plane and jumped out. The fall was about 10 feet. Yeah, I used to load airplanes. It's no joke. It's a long way to the ground, folks.
Holy crap.
The fall was about 10 feet, police said, and the man sustained minor injuries. Both law enforcement and paramedics responded, American Airlines said in a statement to CNN. The man was taken into custody without incident, police said, and was taken to a local hospital to treat his injuries. Neither police nor American Airlines indicated whether it had been determined what was sprayed by the man, but there were no reports of injuries to passengers. Police said none of the other passengers wanted to press charges. Trespassing charges are pending against the man from the prosecutor's office, police said. The incident also did not disrupt airport operations, police said. So, yeah, I don't.
Wow.
Why is he touching their face? See, that would have got his fingers broke with me to begin with.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody got up and tried to bite him or some bulldog him to the floor.
Yeah, right, exactly. Jake had agree, exactly. Me and him are two peas in a pod. I mean, he's just a younger version of me. He wouldn't have had to jump if he touched me. Exactly. I'm very serious about it, folks. If you don't know this about me, you don't touch me without my permission. Do not touch. I have there's a invisible area around my body that you don't cross. And if you cross it, you face my wrath. Like, get the heck away from me. The only ones that are immune to that are my grandchildren. And that's probably because they're still small yet. Once they get older, that might change. I don't know. I mean, I'm so bad that when my mother was alive, she used to come up and try to fix my collar on my shirt or pick a piece of lint off my back. And I would just tense up and cringe, which, of course, if you knew my mom, meant she smacked me in the back of the head and says, "Oh, stop it."
You wouldn't do very well in like the London Underground, would you?
No. Oh, heck no. Ask J-Kid what happens to me when I'm in a mall.
J-Kid, he wants me to ask you what happens to him when he goes into a mall.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just a no. Give it a minute for it to catch up and for him to respond here. But yeah, I don't do well when I'm too crowded in with people at all.
Yeah, I feel you there. I mean, I used to be very good at it.
So if this fella come up and touch my face just out of nowhere, I'm grabbing his fingers and break them. J-Kid says, ever see someone having an anxiety attack? Yeah. That's exactly what happens. I will even freeze. I can't move. I'm like, get away! There's too many people. I don't like this. No, don't touch me without my permission. You're not going to have to worry about jumping off that plane. I'm going to throw you off.
Out you go. By the neck.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody like clapped him one.
Yeah, if he was more running around touching people, yeah. I mean, because for me,
a single person on the plane who didn't try to get him.
Because for me, honestly, it would be an instinct, a reflex reaction. If somebody touched me out of the blue, I'm going to swing. I don't understand. Push the button says, have you seen those jackets you can buy with built-in taser technology in the seams? No, but I want one.
Oh dear. Did you have a story for us today, by the way?
Oh, Bear, I did.
But you forgot.
But I've since forget. I'm going to have to start writing them down when they occur to me. And so that I don't forget. I really did. About an hour before the stream, I was like, okay, that's what I'll tell my story about today. Yeah, that'll be a good one. And then right now, this minute, nothing. Don't get old, people. It sucks. It's not for sissies.
He's telling you to die early, people. He's just trying to get your Social Security.
That's right. The less of you, the more for me. My mom always said, and I agree with her, growing old ain't for sissies.
I'm certainly inclined to agree.
No, it may come back to me here in time to tell it before the end of the stream, but yeah, as of right now, I got nothing.
Well, that's a shame. That is a shame.
Well,
Well, I'll tell you what then. I'll tell you what's going on in the Bears' life.
alrighty.
The mental health groups that I've set up on Facebook are going okay. The veterans one isn't. The men's mental health one is. It's growing quite nicely, and we've had people reach out to us and express support and or wanting to come along and be a part of it. So I'm really happy about that. Of course, setting up these pages meant that I had to create my own Facebook, and my old Navy comrades have found me and they've all started adding me en masse. And I had a nice catch up with my old mate Endo. That was his nickname. I'm not going to tell you his real name today. And it's really nice having a catch up with him because he was one of the last sailors I ever saw. He actually saw me out of the gate when I left on the 30th of July 2011, and he went on to serve a further 4 years. Cool. Yeah, so having a nice catch up with him, that was quite nice. And I imagine a few of the others will probably send me a DM at some point as well, and I'll have a nice catch up with them. I was telling him about YouTube and stuff, and I was like, look, he was like, give me your channel. And I was like, I don't wanna. You might end up giving away my real name, because he still calls me by my old Navy nickname, you see. And if you knew what it was, it'd give away my surname. Even though quite a lot of my subscribers already know what it is because I've accidentally doxed myself a couple of times. But I said to him, look, mate, you can't leave a comment if you go do watch it, and he agreed to it. So I showed him it, and we are very much politically aligned, which I didn't actually realize that. But they, of course, back then we weren't very political creatures. Back then, we just wanted to go out and get drunk, and we did,
Well, good for you.
Not yet, Faithless. Not yet.
Hey, Maddie. I started to ask what was the crazy thing, but yeah, I was watching you do that on Twitter. I've never watched the Last Jedi, and I really have no intention of it. But yeah, according to your tweets, you weren't exactly enjoying the experience.
Hey, Jakey, you weren't doing karate at Walmart by any chance? We don't have Walmart over here, but they do own various supermarket chains over here. But they're nowhere near as bad as the Walmarts you guys have.
Oh, Barry, it's really, I know you've heard a lot of stories, but it really is just like you've heard. you really have no idea what you might see when you walk into Walmart.
I've seen many a video.
Especially if you walk in at night, because most Walmarts are 24/7. So
Tesco's not bad. Tesco's not bad at all. I mean, if you go into a Lidl's or an Aldi, they're pretty bad. Yeah. You see some right states in there, but
oh yeah, I remember my story.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not really a funny haha story, but it's kind of things that make you go kind of story.
Things that make you go
When I was, at this time, I was in my late teens, probably about maybe 19 at most, 18 or 19. And some friends of mine, about 4 or 5 of us, decided that we were going to pack up our camping gear and go camping in Brown County, which is about an hour's drive away, but we didn't have a car. So we thumbed our way all the way out there, which was fairly easy because it's all the way down just one major road, and you're from where I live, and you're there. You don't even have to switch roads. And so we thumb our way out there, and we set up our campsite, which, by the way, where we were at was not a legal campsite. We weren't supposed to be there. We put our campsite towards some water, but kind of over a hill, so that if you were at the road up at the top of the hill would kind of block our campsite. We evidently must have had somebody complain or something. Of course, 4 or 5 teenaged boys in the 70s, and there's probably plenty of beer and marijuana to be had, and we're probably making some noise. But we at one point during the night, we did have rangers come out and stop on the road at the top of that hill, and they're shining their lights, trying to find us. We of course hit the deck. We're laying as close to the ground as we can and being quiet. Everybody's like, shh,
Yeah.
We're all pretty toasted, so it was like, but everyone
be really quiet.
Exactly. And of course they didn't find us. They didn't see us, but that went on for a little while. And when they left, we kind of calmed down after that, calmed down. But that wasn't the end of the story. The next day we packed up our stuff and hitchhiked back home. And we decided that we'd probably get, since there's 4 or 5 of us, we'd probably be better off getting a ride if we split up, into two groups. People are going to be more apt to pick up 2 people than 4 people.
Mm.
So we did that, and me and my buddy Derek had split off. I think it was me, him, and my buddy Clayton, Clayton was one of them that was involved in the Pizza Monster story, if you all remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hitchhiking, and for a long time we don't get a ride, and then finally this car pulls over, and a couple of dudes with longish hair look cool, about 3 of them. They're sitting in the front seat of this car, and they pull over to give us a ride, and we pile in. We don't think anything about it. We pile in and say, thanks for the ride. Yay, no problem. Whatever. And we asked them if they smoke, and they said, sure. Well, we lit up a joint. We start passing it around the car, as we do, and everything was going good for a time until the driver of the car pulls out this huge knife.
Oh.
I mean, it's a knife the size of the one that Crocodile Dundee had in the scene where he said, you call that a knife? This is a knife.
Machete.
Yeah, it was darn near a machete. And while he's driving, he's turning it over and over in his hands and feeling the edge and looking at it. And he starts making weird comments like, I wonder how easy this would skin a human being.
Oh, dear.
How easy would it be to put this, would this go through bone and kind of, and of course, me and my buddies we're in the back of the car and we're looking at each other like, oh my God, what? And at first we're laughing. We think he's joking.
Mm.
Well, it wasn't just him. The other 2 started getting in on it too and started talking crazy stuff, like, and waving this knife around and everything. And we're getting scared.
Yeah.
We're starting to get scared. Like, no. So there comes a point. We hadn't told him exactly where to take us, at that point. And he says, well, how far you want to take us? And we all 3 in one go said, you can drop us off here. We were probably a good 20 miles from home at that point still. It didn't matter. Let us out.
Yeah. It's probably a good call.
Yeah. I don't know what their problem was, but they were a creepy bunch. So
Yeah.
folks, think about that before you go hitchhiking. Yeah, they could have been J-Kid. They were Floridians, probably.
Oh dear. Oh well, we've come to the end now.
Yeah,
That landed nicely.
yeah, yeah, the chat's saying maybe they were messing with us. We thought so too, but it just went on for so long, and their eyes were crazy. If you'd have seen these people, that's why we doubted they were messing with us. It was just getting a little too serious. But yeah, we've reached the end of it. Thank you, chat, for coming out as always. Thanks for the donations. Thank you for my moderators. You haven't had to work it off today like you did the other day. That was something, huh? I don't know what that was about, but
Mm.
The Last Jedi was a better story. Shut up. He's just mad because he's heard all my stories. Boy, don't make me come over there and have to jap slap you. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming out. Bear, thank you as always. Anything you want to share? Shield?
Not a problem, Dad. And of course, guys, I released a brand new video over on Irate Alex earlier on today. It's linked in the chat. Go give it a watch. It's me basically promoting or sharing a YouTuber who's trying to fill the shoes of Filthy Frank and me talking about Edge on YouTube. Go give it a watch, guys. I'd really appreciate it.
And give me just a second here. Okay. I had just noticed that my Streamlabs website had glitched, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any more donations that I didn't shout out. And I don't. Yeah. So anyway, thanks everybody again. And as always, get out of my yard.
Have a great weekend, guys.